You're on.
Hey, Jake again from Thermal Windows and Doors, and we're going to discuss what goes into a Supercells kit that we supply to our dealers. You will find some different pieces of glass in it, different glass packs that we supply, and some other parts and pieces. You will find a lot of them putting in a heat shield now. If it doesn't come in there, we can supply you with one and show you where to buy it. You'll get a meter in it, although the meter I like to use is a solar transmission meter, which is also a BTU reader, and you always want to set that up about 2 foot from your heat lamp, and always set it at P100. That'll give you your readings that you're looking for. You're going to get a heat lamp. This heat lamp is about a 250 watt heat lamp, same thing you find in bathrooms at some of the different hotels. When you get out of the shower, it just gives you some warmth and heats it up. I want to show you what a heat shield actually does. A heat shield is black right now because there's no heat against it, but if I hold it in front of the thing, you'll see that it turns different colors when I went in front of it. So we want that to go back to black. This is a radiometer, and if I put that in front, you'll see that starts to spin. It'll start to spin quite a lot, and we like to refer to that as basically your electric meter on the outside of your house. If you have inferior windows, your money is going out through the windows, and your meter is running very, very fast. So the other thing too you'll find on our heat lamps, you see I got a long cord on this, and the reason I have a long cord on this is I like my homeowners to go outside and stand out in front of their windows, and I actually take my lamp and I hold it right up to their piece of glass, right up to their window, and I ask them what they feel outside. And most of the time what you'll find is they just have regular insulated glass with no argon or anything in it. So they'll feel that heat coming out through the window, and they'll tell you, yeah, we feel heat. Ask them what they see. And of course you can't see anything, but tell them you see money going out through the windows. And that's their money that they're paying for their electric, gas, oil, however they're heating the house or however they're cooling the house. So now you've got something to talk about. Bring them back inside and tell them, let's look at some of the different packages that are available out there. I got something I think I can save you a lot of money with, and let me show you. So I'll put my heat lamp back down and get it about 2 feet away from my meter. Always set this back to basically P100 is what you want it to read. Now there's people that'll say, can I just put some storm windows on my house? And basically all you're doing is putting a clear piece of glass on here. If I take a clear piece of glass is just going to knock down that rays a little bit. It's still reading 82, 83, 84 sometimes. Basically what you're doing, you're putting a band-aid on something that really needs a lot of stitches. So you don't really want to sell storm windows, and a lot of places don't even sell storm windows anymore. But you do have the guys out there who sometimes you see advertisements, and he's standing on his window, and he has billboards all over the place, and he's advertising windows for $189. Well, anybody that knows anything about the window industry knows that that is not the truth, and that's kind of false advertising. But now they got their foot in the door. What they're going to come into their house with, they're going to try to sell you this window. And I'm going to put it in front of my heat lamp, and it's still reading about 66. Watch when I put my heat shield in front of it. That heat shield is going to turn colors. You see the heat that came right through that glass. If I put my radiometer in front of it, you're going to find that this thing was going to start to spin, even though it's got insulated glass, and that's what they're trying to sell you. But the guy will tell you that this is not any good for your house. It doesn't meet any Energy Star criteria or anything like that. So they're going to try to move you up to another piece of glass. They want to move you up to their 389 or 489 window. And this is what they're going to try to sell you. They're going to try to sell you this piece. It's called Hard Coat Low E. Let's put it in front of our 250 watt meter. You'll see that it's reading 56. If I put my heat shield in front of this glass, you're going to find that this is going to end up heating up too. You see how the heat came right through that. So this piece of glass that they're trying to get, or this window they're trying to get 389, 489, sometimes 589 out of, really is not protecting anything inside your house. It's still going to fade your carpet, it's still going to fade your drapes, it's still going to fade your furniture. It's not really what you want. Now, what you have in between your walls in your house is insulation, or you should have insulation in between your walls. So we'll put it down there. It's set back at P100. We'll put a piece of insulation on front of that. You see what I did? I knocked it down to 15. And that's just with an insulated thing. But the problem is, if I would put this in your window, you can't see through it. So this isn't really what you want to put in your house. But what I do have for you is something really, really tremendous, and that is our Peak Elite glass. Peak Elite glass is our triple pane glass. We use a super spacer in between two sandwiches of glass, and we fill that dead airspace with a gas called krypton. Now, krypton is a real heavy gas which is stopping the flow of heat coming in from the outside from the sun, and also keeping your heat and your air conditioning inside your house. Now, one thing we do before we make this piece of insulated glass is we take a clear piece of glass, which you see here, and we put a coating on it which is called low E coating. And you see this dark is the low E coating. But what's very important that we do, and some other companies aren't, we actually take and we do what they call edge deletion. And that's this clear line that you see all the way around the glass. We actually take and etch that off, and then when we apply our spacer, the spacer is going against clear glass. If you take a spacer and put it onto a piece of low E coating, the low E coating will have a tendency to move, although we can't see it with our eye. But sometime throughout this year, we're going to have about a 100-degree temperature change. If that spacer is on that piece of low E coating, it'll have a tendency to try to move. And when it moves, it breaks the seal, and it causes what they call a seal failure. And you see the milkiness, and you see the stuff that's cloudy in between your glass. That's a seal failure. We use edge deletion. We're one of the very few people that are doing or started. We actually started it, and it really needs to be on your glass. That's why we have about 99.5% of no seal failures. Very small percentage that we have, because we do this. But the glass package that really excites me and can do the best, give you the best protection in your house and give you the best value for the money that you want to spend is our triple pane Peak Elite. And we'll set this back. We'll set it at P100. We're going to place it in front of our meter right now. And if my cameraman shows you the meter, you're going to see that it's reading 0. Which means if I take my radiometer and put it in front of my piece of glass, I'm going to knock it down completely. How are we doing that? Glass will have, on this triple pane, will have actually 6 different layers. And we start from the outside and work our way to the inside. You'll have number 1 on the outside, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we're going to the inside of each piece of glass. On layer number 2 and layer number 5, which is inside, not touched by the human hand or from the outside, we put our low E coatings on. In between those two spaces, that dead air space, we fill it with a krypton gas, which is a real heavy gas. With those coatings and with the combination of the gas, you notice that my radiometer has stopped dead, and my meter reads 0. If I was to take and turn this glass at a little bit of an angle, and I set my radiometer back here, you're going to see that it starts to spin again. Because what's happening now is the sun from the outside is hitting that glass and the coating and it's bouncing off, going back out into the atmosphere, and it's causing it to spin. The same thing works if this is your furnace in your house. It's now hitting the inside of your piece of glass, shooting it back into your house. Working the same way with your air conditioner too. So if we took and we put this back out front, we can put our heat shield, and you see it's black right now. And just to show you that, I'll put it in front of the heat. You see how I turned that? It turned color. I'll get it back to black. Didn't get it back to black. And we'll place it right now back in front of our. And actually, I could leave that there all day long, because with the combination of the coatings that we put on the glass and the krypton gas, there is no transfer of heat coming through, and that's what our meter read. And then I do like to let our customer, whoever your customer is, take the glass in between their hands, and you'll find the inside of this glass is almost to the point where I can hardly hold it in my hands, and the outside is still just going to be room temperature. That's how our glass packs work. This is the one that we really would like the customer to use, because this is the best.